late Mama Rhoda Ibiyingibo Aprioku was born on Christmas Eve, the 24th day of December 1928, in a little village called Obipi in Amumara Autonomous Community in Ezinihite, Abombise, in present-day Imo State, to Lazarus Madike and Wama Madike. Her pet name was Datiti. At the tender age of 8, she was enrolled at the mission school in Amumara, and during the holidays, she came with her father to Okrika. Again, in Standard 2, she accompanied her father to Okrika, who was a trading partner to Chief Albert Orene of Ederemebiri Okrika. Her father, Lazarus Madike, was a palm produce collecting agent in the Igbo hinterland and had many Okrika customers along the Imo River, the most prominent being Chief Orene of Ederemebiri Okrika. At the age of 14, Rhoda was introduced to her future husband, late Henry Isaiah Iwokiri Aprioku, who eventually married her in 1946. Mama Rhoda Aprioku lived with her husband from 1947, when he was a tutor at the Kalabari National College, Buguma, and they left Buguma during the Okrika-Kalabari hostilities in 1950 with their first daughter, Lavinia. From Buguma, they moved to Onitsha, where her husband taught at the Dennis Memorial College Onitsha, New Bethel College Onitsha, and thereafter left for the National Boys College Arundi Ziogo before returning to Okrika in 1958. Meanwhile, Rhoda remained a seamstress and petty trader, looking after the home front in her domestic duties. After the liberation of Okrika and Port Harcourt in 1968, her husband consented and allowed her to relocate to Port Harcourt to continue trading in Port Harcourt while he stayed back at Okrika, teaching at the Okrika Grammar School from 1969 until his demise in 1977. Rhoda was too kind to a fault and very generous. She was very industrious and a successful businesswoman. Her business strategy was to study the environment and then establish a trade that would flourish. She also traded in fried corn pancakes called Epiangba Pankika from 1958 to 1967. Her grown-up children, including Letabie, at one stage or the other, were very active hawkers of the corn pancakes, covering all the nook and crannies of the island of Okrika. When she relocated to Port Harcourt in 1968, she started trading in toiletries, beverages, and thereafter switched to distributionship of confectionery products from the Port Harcourt flour mills. After the death of our father in 1977, she relocated to Okrika and was on a daily basis shuttling to and from Port Harcourt to trade. However, in 1984, her imported confectionery 300 bags of Cameroon flour were confiscated by unscrupulous task force members of the essential commodities. That singular incident of the loss of her goods and paying huge sums of money as bribe to kill the case left her penniless to continue with the business. As she tried to gradually recover from that loss, the new layout market was gutted by fire again. All the restocked goods of the previous day got burnt. We appealed to her to remain at Okrika, to which she obliged and set up a shop at Okrika. At her shop at 11 Tank Road, Okrika, she was at one stage the sole distributor of confectionery and baking products and polythene bags, also called waterproof, up until mid-1999 when her health started failing. From her trade, she was able to support the education of all her children. In cases when debtors could not redeem loans obtained from our mother, she showed no form of frustration. She was very humble and, in fact, a confidant to many women in Okrika. She was Igbo by birth, but Okrika in every sense of the Okrika lifestyle. An encyclopedia of Okrika history who could trace family roots the moment one mentions their names. Mama was very fluent in Okrika dialect and vast in the use of Tekananimina with deep knowledge of Okrika proverbs and jokes. Mama Rhoda identified mainly with the poor and was always willing to assist the needy, ready to share whatever she had with those close to her, especially those in need. When her children gave her money and food items in bulk, Mama would write a list of people to distribute these items and thereafter give out some cooked food. Her greatest joy was to cook and lavishly entertain guests of her children whenever they visited. She was always prepared to complain to whoever that cared to listen if they refused to eat what was prepared. Among members of her family, she preached love, unity, and peace and practiced it until her last day. Mama found delight in looking for solutions to people's problems rather than shying away from them. Mama Rhoda was a woman of substance and of exemplary life worthy of emulation. She was forthright and outspoken at family and walk-in house meetings. Her mother was the treasurer of the Aprioku local family for 20 years and for the walk-in house for 18 years until her demise. She never released the family or walk-in house money for frivolous expenses and will always render proper accounts with cash at hand. Her mother would have been killed in early June of 1968 for no justifiable reason when some women, out of envy and jealousy, conspired and invited the victorious Nigerian soldiers who came into the house, arrested her, and was to shoot her on the premise that she was an Igbo woman. The timely and miraculous arrival of her husband from Bonny saved her from being killed alongside Benjamin, who she held on her left hand with dango strapped to her back. This incident, from time to time, caused her pains of emotional trauma, just like when her most brilliant son, Abiye, drowned in 1973 while writing his school certificate examinations. Mama Rhoda was from her childhood days a devout Christian and was baptized at St. Peter's Anglican Church, Amumara. She was confirmed by the fiat of Bishop Bara Hart in 1963 on the recommendations of Venerable Harold Oriako. Mama was a communicant, a staunch member of the Women's Guild, as well as Sweeping Group 3 in St. Peter's Church, Okrika, where she was the leader until her ill health in 1999, when she handed over to late Mrs. Israel Damina Gogo. As a devout Christian of the Anglican Communion, she worked tirelessly in all assignments involving the women. She did not belong to any social club in Okrika outside of the Women's Guild of the church. She attended the daily Baso Teke at 5:30 a.m., walking alone through the cemetery route. Mama enjoyed a simple prayer life. She prayed every morning and before she went to sleep. To her, with God, all things are possible, and by her lifestyle, she brought many converts to the Anglican Church. She taught her children and grandchildren to be humble, honest, and dutiful. Mama always reminded us that a good name is better than silver and gold, for contentment was her life's philosophy. She admonished us and our friends to be honest, truthful, and not to be greedy, for it is better to be poor and happy than to be rich by ill-gotten wealth and remain unhappy. Her favorite hymns were "What a Friend We Have in Jesus" and "Jesus, my Lord, to Thee I Cry." Mama Rhoda's last day's journey started in early 1999. She was visiting the hospital frequently but will always refuse all entreaties for her to leave Okrika and permanently stay with her children in Port Harcourt. Mama requested for a birthday celebration in 1999, and her 71st birthday was marked with a Thanksgiving at St. Peter's Anglican Church, Okrika, with a social party reception on the 26th of December, 1999. Her advice to all who visited her in December 1999 was, "If you have food, eat it now, and if you have clothes, wear them. For sickness has made her select what she eats now, and she could not tie heavy wrappers again. At a time, even her grandchildren have started giving her wrappers. She fell ill on the 1st of January 2000 at Okrika and was rushed to Port Harcourt the next day. The medical team tried to save Mama, but she finally relapsed into a state of coma on the 7th of February 2000 and breathed her last at the Braithwaite Memorial Specialist Hospital at 2:45 a.m. on the 17th of February 2000. The death of Mama Rhoda was very painful to us as her children and those whose lives she touched in her lifetime, but we cannot question the Maker on matters of life and death. We are consoled that she had completed her duty here on earth. Thank you, Mama Rhoda, for you nurtured your children to be self-reliant and lead lives of contentment. Mama, 25 years after you passed on, we thank God that we are all alive except our most senior sister, late Lavinia Tekena Roberts. The rest of us who are now in multitudes celebrate you today. At the last count, we are 8 children who have numerous grand and great-grandchildren with relatives and friends too numerous to mention. Mama, it is time to say goodbye, but our goodbyes will never be enough and you will always remain evergreen in our memories. In everything, we give God all the glory.